By the end of 2026, up to $1.8 trillion in commercial real estate debt hits a wall. At the very same time, entire office towers in San Francisco and London are selling for pennies on the dollar or being blown up. What happens when a skyscraper is worth more as rubble than as an office building, and the banks holding the mortgage are on your street corner? It's called the 2026 maturity wall. Between $1.5 and $1.8 trillion in commercial real estate loans come due. $936 billion in 2026 alone, an 18.8% jump from 2025. Why? Because banks spent 2024 and 2025 playing a quiet game. Extend and pretend, pushing bad loans forward and praying interest rates would fall. They didn't. The physical world is cracking too. In 2025, for the first time in modern history, more office space was removed than built. 23.3 million square feet demolished or converted, only 12.7 million added. Developers ran the numbers and chose the unthinkable. It's often 30 to 40% cheaper to blow up a tower from the 1980s than to try to save it. Converting offices into apartments sounds like the easy fix, until you hit the floor plate problem. 1980s towers were built deep, with large, fat floors. Slice them into apartments, and huge chunks of every floor have no windows. To fix that, you have to carve light wells right through the middle of the building, destroying structure and devouring cash. In most cases, dynamite wins. London has become the test case. Bastion House and the Museum of London site, known as London Wall West, are fully functional brutalist towers. The City of London plans to erase them, arguing that retrofitting isn't viable. Architects, historians, and residents are furious. Demolishing them will pump thousands of tons of carbon into the atmosphere. But to the numbers on the spreadsheet, the land is worth more clean than with a tower on it. In San Francisco, the doom loop has already begun. Vacancy in the core hovers around 35 to 37%. That's effectively 1 in 3 buildings sitting empty. City Hall now projects a $1.4 billion budget deficit by 2027. In a single year, property tax revenue fell more than $100 million, as owners argued in court that their towers are worth a fraction of what they once were, and won. Across the Atlantic, Canary Wharf is bleeding tenants. Vacancy hit 18.6% in 2025, the highest since 2003, and could climb toward 30% as HSBC abandons its iconic tower for a smaller base in the city. Secondary London office values have already fallen 20 to 40%. Some landlords aren't even trying to hold on. They're handing back the keys and walking away. On the ground, the numbers look like a liquidation sale. At 995 Market Street in San Francisco, a 16-story tower that sold for $62 million in 20 just changed hands for about $6.5 million, a 90% loss. At 410 Townsend, once a prized tech address, the price collapsed from $86 million to $22 million. Landlords who once bragged about these assets now can't get out fast enough. These aren't one-off disasters. 300 California Street, a downtown San Francisco tower, was expected to fetch over $100 million. It sold for $28 million. In London, Bastion House still stands, technically functional, yet slated for demolition because the structure is worth less than the dirt beneath it. Across global cities, zombie towers are rising. Buildings too expensive to fix, too empty to finance, and too valuable to simply ignore.
Put the clues together. Trillions in debt coming due at higher rates. Buildings that make less money and cost a fortune to fix. Cities losing tax revenue and services as values collapse. And the real exposure sitting with smaller banks that fund local businesses and mortgages. This isn't just an office problem. It's a feedback loop that can bleed into jobs, pensions, and the stability of entire neighborhoods.
Look at the map. San Francisco's financial district glows deep red with vacancy over 36%. London's docklands sit in orange and red as Canary Wharf empties out. Even Manhattan, long considered untouchable, now carries roughly 19 to 22% vacancy. The cost math is brutal. $400 to $500 a square foot to convert, $20 to $50 to demolish. In a spreadsheet, Dynamite almost always looks rational.
So what happens when the clock strikes 2026, the loans come due, and the maturity wall meets the wrecking ball? Some cities will adapt, rezoning, negotiating, forcing lenders and owners back to the table. Others may slide into a full doom loop of falling values, shrinking services, and failing local banks. For now, the skyline still looks solid. But behind the glass, the contracts, the debts, and the spreadsheets tell a different story. The question isn't whether the wall is real, it's who gets crushed when it finally cracks.